Special fireside chat with Dr. Pavan Goenka, Chairman of InSpace, in conversation with Mr. Pallav Bagla, Science Editor at the NDTV. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Pavan Goenka on the stage. As Chairman of InSpace, Dr. Goenka is at the forefront of India's private space sector. His visionary leadership is driving innovation and fostering partnership between government and industry to accelerate space exploration and commercialization. Dr. Pavan Goenka and Mr. Pallav Bagla. Mr. Pallav Bagla, a renowned science communicator with over 2 decades of experience. He has simplified complex science for the public, and his work on India's space missions has been widely recognized. This discussion promises to provide unique insights into the transformation of India's space ecosystem and InSpace's crucial role in empowering the private sector. May I please request Mr. Bagla to take over the session. Thank you.
Namaskar and welcome to everybody. We are starting late. I apologize for that, beyond my control. But I'm told we also have some extra time on the panel, so that is good. It's a chat. It's a session meant for all of you. I'm not going to be playing the role of a news person today. I'm going to be asking questions which the industry wants answers to. Just to introduce Dr. Pavan Goenka to people who may not be fully aware of his credentials. A mechanical engineer from IIT Kanpur, same place where I was born. He learned mechanical engineering, I learned swimming in IIT Kanpur. He went on to give the Indian automobile industry a very good car, Scorpio SUV, extremely well known for his work on automobiles. And what I like about Dr. Goenka is, from a person who used to put rubber on roads, he converted himself to an aerospace person and now is heading the InSpace. And I always need to look at the full form of InSpace. Indian National Space Promotion and Authorization Center. Essentially the regulator and promoter. I don't know how he combines the two roles. I'll not get into that today. We've nitpicked on that, regulator and promoter together. Somewhere, I think Dr. Kiran Kumar figured out that we needed a regulator and a promoter in one person. Dr. Goenka, in my opinion, is a rare gem. And I use that word very carefully and with the authority behind it. He has earned not only the respect from the Indian Space Research Organization, but also earned the respect of the industry and the startups, which is a fantastic thing and very hard to do. He's taken many risks in life, and I think the risk-taking capacity comes from the Marwadi genes which he has, and I also share the same Marwadi genes. You give a Marwadi a rupee in the morning, and by evening, in our families, if you don't come back with 2 rupees, then you are not good enough. Dr. Goenka has, in the last 3+ years as chairman in space, I think given back India more than what is there. We've seen dramatic changes in the way the Indian space ecosystem is governed, and a lot of credit has to go to Dr. Goenka. For the audience, I don't see a better time in space, and I'm not talking of InSpace, which he is heading, but the space ecosystem, than today. You have a Prime Minister who directly looks at space and governs it on a daily basis. I won't be surprised one day when the Bharatiya Antariksh Station is up and about, we may well have a cabinet meeting at the Bharatiya Antariksh Station. In the last month or so, it has been raining money in space. I heard some industry complain. I do not know why they complain. But if 21,000 crore rupees can be cleared in one cabinet meeting and a roadmap laid till 2040, that's an amazing amount of money. But for Dr. Goenka, he also got his wallet full. He got 1,000 crores. And let's start exactly with that. I'll open it to questions towards the end. And let's get straight to the key part. And I don't want to give you an opportunity to make an opening statement because it is a fireside chat. And any fire in a rocket takes one higher in orbit. If it's a solid booster, then you can't do much about it. Let's get going. Tell us a little bit about this 1,000 crore venture capital fund. It's unprecedented, and how will it be governed?
Thank you, Pallav. First of all, the introduction that you have done puts me under a lot of pressure, and I hope that I live up to the expectation that you have set for the audience. I also noticed that even this is day 2, we do have the room full. And I think the General Bhatt always is good in keeping the audience interested in whatever is going on in SPA function. All of you are not giving me an opening statement, but I need to put this in context, not just on 2,000 crore. First, I want to go back to my first interview that I did in space. I don't know if you recall, that was with you. And I was told that, look, you're making a mistake. Here is Pallav Bagla, a Diggaz journalist of space, and here's Pawan Goenka and Nausicaa in space. He's going to tear you to pieces. But you were very kind to me. You did not
I'm always kind to the Indian science and technology community.
And you even allowed me to retake when I made a couple of mistakes during the interview. So thank you for that.
My pleasure.
Now, we fast forward 3 years from now. And if you kind of imagine what you have kind of alluded to, that what has happened in the Indian space sector in 3 years is something that nobody would have imagined 3 years ago on both fronts. The front of technology and science and the front of what's happening in the commercial part of the space sector. About 3 years ago, we were still recovering from the shock of the last mile failure of Chandrayaan 2. Today, we are basking in the glory of Chandrayaan 3. At that time, there was hardly any private sector except for vendors to ISRO. Today, we have sort of boosting energy in the private sector, bubbling with energy, with a lot of achievements to the credit. We have a clear roadmap till 2040 for the science exploration, which we didn't have any time in the past. We have a clear roadmap for where we're going to go in the commercial sector. So I think if you put all of these things together, and like you said, this is the best time for the Indian space sector in many ways. This 1,000 crore VC fund that you talked about is for the last of the things that we have been doing over the last 3 years, and we'll talk about a few other things. But this 1,000 crore VC fund is coming only from one specific understanding that we have of what needs to be done for the Indian private sector in space. And there are many things that the private sector requires, but nothing happens without money. And so money has to, you talk about 1 rupee, 2 rupee, I thought you were going to say 100 rupee. You disappointed me by saying 1 is to become 2 by the end of the day. So same thing here, the 1,000 crore fund that we are putting in is a fund with an expectation that the private sector will make 1,000 crore fund become 5,000, 10,000, 1,000 crore worth with what they will do with it. And the reason we are doing it is very simply that right now the space sector is new. Right now the profits for the companies are not seen. Right now there's a lot of hesitation in the private investors to invest in the space sector because they need to see some sort of proof that yes, they will make money. Because private investors are into investing to make money and not for the sake of investing. And therefore government said that we need to step in. We put our money where our mouth is. We have been talking about space for the last several years now. let's put 1,000 crores on the table, say we are going to use this money to fund private sector into space, into sort of getting funds. And we hope that our 1,000 crore will do a multiplier effect of once we invest in a company, then other private investors will see wisdom in investing in the same company or similar companies, and therefore it's going to multiply. But I want to make one thing very clear. There is still confusion, though we have said it very clearly, that this is not a grant. This is an investment, equity investment that the government is making through a fund in the private sector, typically in startups, because our ticket size will be between 10 and 30 or 40 crores. And it will be like any other VC fund that invests in anything, where they will go through the complete due diligence, they will go through the business case, they will go through the commercial payback. It is not a grant, it is not a giveaway, and you will have to qualify for it. The only difference is that there is no other fund that focuses only on space, and that's the difference here. They will focus only on the space, and we will be picking over the years some 30, 40 companies which will be supported by this fund. And if we are successful, government may consider doing that. But right now we have started with 1,000 crores, and that's a good enough size.
Not 1,000, 150 crores.
First
year 150,
See, look,
250,
these are all
1,000 crores is still a dream.
No, these are all questions of how fast the deals come on the table. Right? I believe, and I don't know how the process will work, but I believe that if we see lots of opportunities in front of us in terms of investing, we will go back to the decision makers and say, look, let's do some fast forwarding and spend the money sooner rather than wait for 3-4 years.
Tell us a little bit about how it will be governed. What is the role of InSpace? Will you have other people on the governing board for the venture capital fund? How will it be governed?
So it will be
If you
again.
don't have the clarity, then let's
No, there's clarity. There's full clarity. So it will be again like any other VC fund. There will be a fund manager who will be appointing. We are going through the process right now to decide who the fund manager would be. And there will be a professional fund manager who is doing fund management, VC fund management. We will have the typical sort of AIF Cat 2 kind of VC fund setup. I'm sure some of the people are familiar with what AIF Cat 2 is. We will have an advisory committee.
Why don't you tell if some people are not?
Well, AIF Cat 2 is a kind of alternate investment fund. There is category 1, category 2, category 3. What we're going to do is category 2, which is we think is the most suitable for this purpose. I don't want to give a sort of course right now on that AIF 2, but we can talk about it on the sideline. So we will have a fund manager, which we are going through the process of selecting, who is a professional fund manager. We would have an advisory committee where InSpace will be involved. We will have an investment committee, like any other fund will do. We will have a trustee, like any other fund will do. There will be a certain fees that will pay to the investment manager, and there will be certain directional commitment that they will make on what the return will be. I would also say that typically a venture capital fund works on a certain level of return. Right? We would set our eyes low because we want to support the space sector. So we're not going to be looking for that kind of return. We'll set our eyes lower so that we can justify investment in the space companies.
Will the peer or the industry also have a role in the governance of this fund?
Well, we have not yet decided on who will be in the investment committee. We would certainly take people from within the government, outside the government. Probably InSpace will not put itself in the investment committee because there will be conflict of interest. So we would, though we are the sort of owner of this fund, but we will not be the decision makers on where the investment is made. And we will let the fund manager decide with the help of investment committee, where we will have some people from the government and hopefully some from outside the government.
Well, I'm sure the Prime Minister feels that the buck stops with you.
No comments.
I'm sure at the end of the day, somewhere, somebody will have to be answered.
Influencing and deciding are two different things. So we may be influencing the decision but not making the decision.
So you will wear both hats. Authorization and promotion.
That's right. That's right.
That is where we've nitpicked on this conflict of interest for a long while. I don't want to spend too much time on that. It's a well-known issue among the audience on why and how it happened. And how will you choose your first few people who you are going to fund?
So again, some companies are already approaching us saying, can we get funded? And the answer is very simple. That like any other investment, the fund manager will be looking at your business plan, fund manager will be looking at what kind of returns they will be, and fund manager will then decide who to fund. So we are right now saying that once we 200 crore in a year, as I said that if we get more opportunities, we will go back to the decision makers and ask to fast forward and put in more money. The selection will be done on the basis of just business plan and return that is expected.
But somewhere it says only startups. Is that a good way to differentiate and do only startups?
So startups and MSMEs is what it says, right? So typically, if a big company like let's say L&T or Airtel wants to invest money in space, they will not need a VC fund. VC venture capital by definition is for startups. That's what venture capital do. Venture capital don't invest in large listed entities, for example, and therefore it limits itself to companies that are not listed, companies that are at the beginning of the investment cycle, right? But beyond what one calls the seed money, beyond what one calls angel funding, it is into the proof of concept and getting ready for what one calls Series A, Series B round.
So I presume the venture capital fund, is there a name for it already? Or
I think there is a name. Vinod, do you remember the name? There is some, just like you cannot remember in space, I don't remember the name. Unswitch something or other. There's a name that we call it, but the name doesn't matter.
So what will happen? Will that take an equity from the startup? How will it work?
Yes, that's how venture capital funds work. There will valuation done of the company, and depending on how much investment the fund makes, they'll get that much equity in the company.
And you expect a payback?
Through the equity valuation. So it's not like if the equity does not get value, then there's no money. The equity gets valued later on, then we get money.
So will you invest more in downstream or upstream or space?
Again, these are the decisions that will be made by the investment committee on where the right investment would be. We are right now not putting anything like X% has to go into upstream and Y% to downstream. We'll have to look at the opportunity. Typically what will happen is that the downstream, just pure downstream, if it is not connected with some hardware, the requirement for investment may not be very, very high. And therefore chances are that more of the investment will go into upstream, but we are not putting any kind of a sort of a budget on it.
Okay. Before I move on to other subjects, if there are people in the audience who have sharp questions and not statements, please, on the issue of this 1,000 crore venture fund, please go ahead. Let me come back to a journalist later. If there is people on the industry, I would give them the opportunity and then I'll come back to you. Yes, sir. Can we get a mic across there? I can't see, the lights are too bright here.
Very good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for this panel.
Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. I'm Dr. Jyotivishnu Bharadwaj. I'm a medical doctor interested in space medicine. So my question is directed towards the same domain. So how we have some concepts where we believe we can solve some potential challenges for human space travel. And how do we approach for the funds and that? And is there a direction or a roadmap in this domain for India?
This is a space medicine person. I'm looking for funds for space medicine research in human space.
Yeah, so see, this is not a funding in the sense this is not a grant. This is a VC fund, meaning it's an equity investment that the fund would make in a company. So if you qualify for equity investment by the fund manager, you will get invested. But you'll have to apply to the fund manager and talk to him and present your business case. There are different schemes that we have for giving grants. There's a scheme that we have called seed funding scheme, where we give up to 1 crore for research and early stage development. The VC fund is not for early stage. VC fund is once you have done some amount of maturity. There are other funds that we are currently working on that will be announcing soon, which will allow to take technology from very early stage to a more mature stage. Those will be more of a grant that is being given, not equity investment. So there are various different schemes that we work on. We can talk offline about what might be suitable for you.
One question right here.
Thank you.
Sir, a question and not a statement.
My name is Nalin Kohli. I'm the president of Association of Small and Medium Knowledge Industries. Sir, I had the privilege of being on the board of SEDBI Venture Capital Limited when it was started. And I just want to share with you that in SEDBI Venture Capital, the first fund was a 100 crore fund given by the government, something very similar, way back in 2000. And what we did was we made 16 investments. As what is happening in space today, the risk perception was very high. The private VCs were not coming in. And our exits were to VCs, to the larger VCs, who were not coming in at the early stage, but then they came in at a later stage. So my request and a question to you would be, would you consider giving this money to more number of startups so that once they prove a little bit, there would be private VCs coming in, which is your model?
No, so say we are,
size of 30-40 crores seems to be on the higher side.
no, we are the VC, and the next step will be PE. So what we are expecting is that our investment as a VC, at some stage of time, 4 years, 5 years, 7 years from now, a PE will invest into that firm. So we starting not from angel investor. That's what I'm just trying to say. We're not going to be investing 1, 2, 3 crore. We are starting at a minimum ticket size of about 10 crore to about 50 crore.
Yes, sir, you had a question. Our friend from Business Line, the mainline newspaper from India.
Ramesh from Business Line, sir. At what TRL level would you be comfortable entering? How long would you stay invested typically? What would typically be your exit mode? And are you open to buying stake from angel investors, the pre-seed?
See, I don't think that we are looking for a secondary investment right now. We want to do primary investment because we want to help the companies to get money and not the previous investors to get out, right? So we will. So that's the clear answer for the last part, that we are not looking for angel investors to sort of exit through this VC fund. As far as TRL level is concerned, we are open to all. But what I want to make it very clear is there has to be a business plan. So it's not funding R&D. VC capital fund, VC fund is not funding R&D. So if you only have an R&D idea and say I'm at TRL 3 and please fund me to go to TRL 7, you won't get funding. But if you have a clear business plan, that this is how I'm going to be able to generate revenue and profit, then you will come for funding for this. And like I said earlier, there are different schemes that we have for funding R&D that we are working on, that will be announcing very soon, which is not an equity investment, which is just a grant that is being given by the government to help you to take the R&D from TRL 3 level to TRL 7, 8 level. And a lot of work is happening on that, and we'll announce that soon.
One question right here.
Sir, no, I'll give you an opportunity. At points that I've asked, how long will you stay invested? How long will you stay invested?
How long what?
Would you stay invested?
Like any VC fund, normally a VC fund has a life of, normally they'll say 10 plus 1 plus 1. Right? That means 10 years of life to begin with, 1 year is extra plus 1 year extra, so about 12 years is what one normally talks about.
Nirmala Sitharaman has given him 5 years.
That is for investment. That what we're asking for, how long will you remain invested?
I make the nuance different. Yes, sir.
Yes, my name is Rainer Horn, Managing Director of Nova Space, the consulting firm out of Munich. Congratulations to this innovative instrument, Dr. Göncka. I'm sure it will shape something here in the country, and it will hopefully also elicit the other private investors to invest or co-invest. So my question from a global perspective is, most of the space funds I've seen and observed over the last 15 years coming and going have had a co-investing strategy, especially the governmental ones, or the ones that were deeply fueled with governmental money. They said we're investing, but we need at least to be matched by another private investor. Is that the case planned for you as well, or will you also be the sole and the lead investor?
So see, there is no question of us permitting or not permitting, because whenever any company is raising funds are raised from anywhere. We are not going to say that if we are going to invest in a company, then somebody else cannot invest. And therefore there will definitely be no restriction on it.
we have somebody from the Space Command in US, and if the Space Command wants to invest in some funds here or in startups, I think that would be very welcome. And in a joint statement it came out also. I'm going to leave it there, I'm not going to push you further. But yes, in a joint statement of the countries it came out. Now I have to move on. If there is a very sharp, direct question you have on the venture capital.
Yes.
We'll
Talk about this on the sideline now, otherwise I get stuck on the 1,000 crore VC fund only.
Yeah. See, in space, when it came up, at the time, the number of startups have gone up. I always hear from startups about various things. But the question to you is, are the startups supporting you?
I don't think it's a question, Pallav, of startups supporting us. It's more of a question of, are the startups doing the right things? Okay. And if they're doing the right things, they're supporting us. Because our role is to help the startups or space industry to grow. So that's the sort of general response, but let me be a little bit more specific. See, there are 2 or 3 ways in which startups or any company interact with industries. The first one is when they need any authorization. They'll come to us for that, an application. There, the only support that we require is that when you apply to any space, please fill your application fully. What happens is they will give you a date that I applied on such and such date, but that's only filling out 6 out of 20 questions. And it takes another 2 to 3 months to fill out everything. So my request is that please fill out the full, because that will speed up things. If you don't fill out everything, we'll have to go back, get answers and so on. So then we have a process in the back end, which is not straightforward. There's a lot of things that we need to do. So that's one thing. Second thing, I think, is companies are now realizing fully, and I've said this before, that space is not about instant gratification. The space is about perseverance, the space is about technology, the space is about doing, because once you fire that rocket, it's not going to forgive you if you have made a mistake, right? And therefore, do not shortcut on any reviews that we need to do, any design verification that we need to do. Don't get frustrated that why are we being asked to review 4 times. Dr. Kiran Kumar will tell you that when ISRO does it, they review 20 times if they have to. But finally, you need to make sure that because you get only 1 chance. And I have said many times, comparing auto industry to space industry. In auto industry, when a car is not functioning, it can go to the workshop. In the space industry, right now, there's no workshop that one can go to. Maybe in the future we would have, but right now there's no workshop. And therefore, once it leaves the ground, it has to live on its own for the next 4 years, 10 years, 15 years. So therefore, be very careful in how you do it. And third thing is that, finally, you are in a business. You're in the space business, but you're in a business. An investor will give you money only if you have a story to tell. Therefore, you have to learn how to tell your story very well. It's not about technology only, it's about marketing. There's no business which can succeed without marketing. And therefore, you must know how to market yourself. And many engineers underestimate or undermine the complexity. And I'm one of those. I was one of those, not anymore. Undermine the complexity of marketing and importance of marketing in success of whatever you're doing. So please be very careful about that. And finally, you have to take big bets. You have to take big bets. It's not about putting in 1 paisa and get 5 paisa. It's about putting in thousands of rupees, hundreds of thousands of rupees, and getting multiples of that. So you have to have that big bets that you take if you want to succeed in it. And often, Excel sheets will fool you. Excel sheet is the best way of killing a very good idea. And if you rely too much, and I've said this before in one of the conferences, if you rely too much on Excel sheet, there are a lot of things that you will not do because it doesn't make quote-unquote financial sense. Now, I'm disconnecting the VC fund from this. VC fund will look at the Excel sheet. but please do that. So I think space business, first of all, let me tell you, Pallav, that I am very, very happy to see what I'm seeing. The companies that are in the forefront of space technology and space products are really doing a very good job. And whenever I see them on global platform, I feel very proud that these are youngsters who have come from India on a global platform and making a mark. Each one of these companies are doing innovation and technology development. Right? Nobody is taking something off the shelf and say, I'm going to just leverage it. Everybody is adding value to technology, and that's what we need to do in the space. The space is not about an incremental improvement. Space is about making a disruptive change to what is happening. And when you technology transfer from ISRO to private sector, I always tell them that just don't take this technology and use it as is. Take this technology and add to it and make it better than what ISRO had done, and then use it. So that's all I have to say on this.
Couple of points where I want to push you a little bit. See, there is much talk about India being a low-cost destination for space products. One, do you think that is really true? Two, see, till now when we benchmarked our costs, we were looking at NASA as an option. NASA has very bloated ideas about the budget, and their budgets are also bloated. But now we have a new player in SpaceX. So how do you think the Indian space ecosystem can really compete with a very strong player like SpaceX? And it's your job to make it cost effective.
So let me say this, that on a like-to-like basis, India is very cost effective in any sector. Okay, it's space or automotive or pharma or whatever you take, on a like-to-like basis. What I mean by like-to-like basis is, if I have to make this phone as is in a country A and in India, in most cases India will be cheaper, okay, less expensive. The difference in space is that technology is moving very fast. So if you don't have the right technology, no matter how inexpensive you are, you will not be cost competitive. So cost has to come down not from your low cost of labor, but has to come down from cutting edge technology. Right? And this is where India has to perhaps work a little more. And SpaceX already obviously has sort of totally changed the way we look at space cost, in the way they have done reusable rockets, in the way, I think 21 times they've used the first phase of Falcon 9. So they've totally revolutionized it. I again think that the foundation that ISRO has given and the work that the private sector is now doing is going to make India very competitive. But we have to, and I keep underlining this again and again, whether it is for ISRO or for private sector, that we have to remain in the forefront of technology. We will never be cost competitive if we are in a technology that is half generation old, and therefore we must always focus on technology. And technology is a big investment. And I'm very happy that the government of India has released so much funding for ISRO to work on future technologies and pave the way to be cutting edge in technology, and then at the private sector be able to take that technology and leverage it to become globally cost competitive.
Well, I have. I'm going to take a few more. Please bear with us. I'm sure if the audience wants to go for a lunch, then you please tell me. I'll stop. But if the audience wants us to continue, I'm happy to continue for a few more minutes. And this is one statement I want to make. See, with this 21,000 crores, Bharat or Bharatiya Antariksh Station, human space flight, this reliance on ISRO to handhold startups and to continually take them forward with them, I think ISRO is going to become very busy with their own work and they will not have the time. I don't want to throw that in a question.
I will respond to that. I think it's a very important observation that you have made. See, clearly, ISRO is going to be busier in the next 10 years than it has ever been before in terms of technology work, right? So there is going to be this sort of dilemma of how much do we support the private sector. I don't want to use the word startup because supporting private sector, not
the ecosystem.
And how much of our own work we do. Fortunately, up until now, we have had no areas of conflict where ISRO had to decide between their own work and helping the private sector. Okay? That they've been able to manage both. As we move forward, that may become more and more difficult. For that, what InSpace is doing is creating its own infrastructure to support the private sector. We have a technical center already in Ahmedabad. We are going to be doing phase 2 of the technical center. I invested 300 crores on it, so that everything that the startups require in terms of infrastructure would be available through InSpace. For a few things will still depend on ISRO, like launch centers, for example, and very large equipment. Second, on the expertise. Obviously, ISRO is the treasure of expertise also, but we are now leveraging retired ISRO people, and retired in India is very young. 60 years is not an age to retire. So therefore, we have a very large pool of retired ISRO scientists who are available as expertise. And InSpace has hired 4 of them right now, made them available to private sector free of cost, and we'll do more and more of that to bring that in. Then we are doing skill development, again using ISRO resources. So basically what InSpace is trying to do is, without disturbing ISRO's core, how do we leverage ISRO's infrastructure, ecosystem, expertise, technology to help the private sector move forward?
I can't help but ask you, you've been at the helm for 3 years. Are there any constraints you have faced, any challenges you have faced? Has Dr. Kiran Kumar's fraternity given you hard times or soft times? How has it been?
Well, my only complaint, Dr. Kiran Kumar, is that he has not played bridge with me. He's a bridge player, I'm a bridge player, and he just refuses to play bridge with me. So, no. So, see, there's nothing that you can do for 3 years where, if you are honest, you can say that I have felt no constraints and I've hit no walls. No matter what you do, no matter where you are, no matter who you work for, no matter which country you are in. So the same is true here. But let me say the following, that I came from private sector, having been there for 40 years, into the government for the first time. And I came with a lot of apprehension that nothing will happen, right? But I was very pleasantly surprised on how much could be done in these 3 years. Could we have done more? Yes, of course, we could have done more. Okay? For example, a few things that took 8 months could have been done in 4 months. Few things that have not yet happened, I don't want to name anything specific, may have happened by now. So yes, more could have been done, but I think we have been able to do more than what I thought from outside really possible. And my whole view, and this is my favorite topic sometimes, my whole view of how the government functions has changed for the better, with few caveats.
Fair enough. I'll let your caveats be with you, and maybe people can talk to you over lunch. If there are any 2 pressing questions from the audience? Yes, sir. What's up? I'm going over time.
I was looking at him all the time.
No, I was not looking at you for exactly that reason. Because if you would give me a sharp eye, then I would not be able to continue. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you so much for this panel. My name is Akshat Johari. I am from an organization called IFCL. My question to Dr. Goenka is, sir, how do you see the role of public-private partnerships evolving in the space sector? I think the young prodigy asked a very good question about innovation and competition being enhanced. And what are the measures we can take to make it more effective in the space sector?
See, if by public you mean ISRO, and if by private you mean all the companies who are represented here, space sector is all about public-private partnership. Unlike many other sectors where it's an option, here it's not an option. And therefore, I believe that, I've said this before, that ISRO is like the Bhisma Pitama of space, right? And nothing can happen in space without the nod of Bhisma Pitama. And therefore, the private sector, at least for the next decade, I don't want to go beyond a decade, at least for the next decade, will have to work with the quote-unquote public sector, which is ISRO, to move forward. Both in terms of bringing business, because a lot of the business, there's 21,000 crore that we talked about, a lot of that will flow to the private sector, finally, through ISRO, right? And in terms of hand-holding, helping with technology transfer, making available infrastructure, all of that will be public-private partnership. So it's 100% public-private partnership.
Thank you, sir.
Any other question? I think people are hungry. Yes, sir. One last question.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Suryakant Sharma. I am a technologist in communication, navigation, and surveillance systems. And the question is to Dr. Goenka. When we seek a fund from, from InSpace about that, so once the steps are taken or the equity is taken by the VC fund under InSpace, how the regulations will impact that company? Will it be a government-owned entity or is it like just a normal VC fund? Because regulations for government companies and private companies are different when you seek approvals from, because we are thinking of dual technologies for InSpace. Let's say we are a startup, we offer a technology where equity VC funds are taken from InSpace and then the equity is given to that VC fund. So will it become a partially government-owned company and the regulations will change?
No, the company will not become government-owned company because the VC fund will not own more than, 2, 3, 4% of the company. So the company remains a private company, just an investor. I don't know if that was your question.
Yeah, exactly. That was the question because when you have a government stake, then the regulations sometimes changes.
No. See, government invests in many things unless government owns 51%. It will not be necessary. Look, there is a difference between a PSU, which is a government-owned company, it's a private, public sector undertaking, right? Whereas an investment, even today, so let me say that this VC fund of 1,000 crore for space sector is very unique. In the sense that first time government is putting money, this kind of money in a specific sector. Otherwise, government has a lot of money that they put into startups. There is a fund of funds of 10,000 crore that is managed by SIDBI, where the money is invested into lots and lots of startups. Government doesn't start controlling them. Government doesn't start deciding what they will do. They are just a passive investor. So here also, government will be only a passive, and it's not even government, it's the VC fund. What government is investing in is in the VC fund, not in the company. Right? And the company and the VC fund is investing in the company. So therefore don't think about government investing in the company. In fact, if you read carefully of what was announced after the cabinet meeting, we are also going to open up this fund for the private investors to put money in the fund. So if you want to put in 5 crores, the 1,000 crore become 1,005, and if all of you put 5 crores each, it will soon become 2,000 crores.
Not sir, thanks.
Thanks a lot. Dr. Goenka, I didn't give you time for an opening statement, but why not give you some time for a closing statement on any issues which I may not have asked you, but you think the audience needs to know as chairman InSpace, and as, like I said, it's a bubbling time for funding from the government of the space sector, and all of that funding will somehow, I'm sure, L&T would garner a lot of that money from that 21,000 crores.
So see, we have, as you said in the beginning, a fairly good situation in the space sector in India. So much opportunity that we have, it took on $44 billion and so on and so forth. But let me also caution everyone that it will not fall from the tree. We have to work very hard and we have to work collaboratively to make it happen. Nobody can do everything. We have to collaborate within our country. We have to collaborate outside our country. We have to have patience. As I said, perseverance is a must in a space sector. And everything that we do has to be technology bound. So what I would say is that we have, let's say, 5 or 6 different verticals. The vertical of the launch vehicle, the vertical of satellite manufacturing payloads, the vertical of data dissemination, the vertical of data acquisition, the vertical of downstream communication. Each of these have opportunities, and we are working on defining what are the opportunities for each of these subsectors. We are very clear on 2 or 3 of these now, on what is the future, how we need to get there. We're not so clear on some of these, we are working on it. And as you know all that we always sort of take inputs from the private sector. That always helps us to reach out to all of you, to take your inputs in deciding how to move forward. So what I would say is that let's stay on the path that we have set for ourselves. It's a very ambitious, very exciting, very motivating journey. And there are very few things right now that are happening which are as exciting as space. But keep in mind that journey that will not succeed by itself. You have to work very hard for it. That's all I want to say.
Thanks a lot, Dr. Pawan. Always a pleasure listening to you. A mechanical engineer making cars transform himself to aerospace. There's an old movie when I was a kid I watched. I don't know how many of you would have known of it. There was a movie called Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, where there used to be a flying car. And Dr. Goenka, in a way, transcends from being taking a car and now taking not just India, but the startup and the ecosystem to space. A fascinating journey. I don't know how much more time the government is going to give you. I'm sure the industry and ISRO would want a longer tenure for you. And I also wish that you get a longer tenure. I haven't seen somebody from the private sector transform himself and work so closely with the government sector in a way. And also having, when you joined, ISRO was very recalcitrant to the fact of having in space, and I'm making that statement for myself and not for Dr. Goenka. I've seen that internally, how difficult they made it for him to survive. But ISRO has also transformed and has accepted not just in space, but the ecosystem, and the whole money which has come will certainly help the space sector. For me personally, it's been a great journey. From having reported the first rockets, to first satellites, to now hoping to report the first Indian to go into space on an Indian rocket from Indian soil. Outstanding moment it would be for me in my reporting career. It's a wondrous journey, and India has supported space bipartisan. Whatever be the frame of the government, space has been supported. Whether it was the earlier governments or now, tremendous support. Acceleration has increased now, and that's a beautiful thing. With these thoughts, I can only say, ISPA has a tagline, Bhumandal se Brahmand Tak. And I think Dr. Goenka very aptly transcends both Bhumandal to Brahmand. From the ground, Dharti se Akash Tak. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Goenka and Mr. Bagla, for this enlightening fireside chat. Your insights have certainly sparked our curiosity and expanded our knowledge. May I request Mr. A.S. Kiran Kumar to kindly felicitate Dr. Goenka and Mr. Bagla with a token of gratitude. Thank you,
Journey
sir.
us to Moon and to Mars. For many who may not know, on both occasions when India made landmark history.
Historic.